Travis Van Goodsell. Special video because it needs to be given to for you. I wanted to retire. YouTube has shut me down and silenced me through the whole latter days. And so people have already made up their mind. And so Mormons are just waiting to be utterly destroyed, I guess. Their choice. If they don't want to believe in the Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith, that's on them. If you don't, you think you're Christian. Oops. I first heard about the Illuminati in high school. George Poppy Bush was President of the United States, as that was my first election. And so it wasn't in high school. It was later on, as I'm hearing about his talks that he's giving, and people are freaking out with the 1,000 points of light and the New World Order, because that's Illuminati code. And so the Illuminati fear spread across the nation. And I didn't know anything about it other than what people were saying about it. And they weren't primary source material. And so I was smart enough not to trust people who have no authority on the subject matter. We didn't have social media back then. And it wouldn't have mattered. I'm smart enough to know not to trust people who have no authority. Once I identify they have no authority and they're just claiming titles, yes, that's a jab on the prophets of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, as they themselves have come out and stated they don't have any of the powers. They just claim the titles, conference after conference after conference. And so I was born and raised in the church, born in the covenant. And so with the Book of Mormon, I know all about the secret combinations, know all about Helaman chapter 6. And so, yeah, I was a little disturbed when I went through the temple. I'm being told about signs and names and tokens and death penalties. But I just didn't know anything about it, didn't have Google search, didn't know primary source material to go to, nothing in the church that would reveal it for me. So I just kept going, pursued deciphering Paleo-Hebrew to show that Joseph Smith was correct, and then be punished by the church for it. I'm not supposed to have the gift of translator. They don't even claim translator. So if they don't claim translator and it's open for anybody to take, why are you punishing me? And so on my mission to New York, a lot of the elders love speculative material, and they would find these papers and documents in the new apartments they get to. There was one where in South America there was a Catholic church that an eyewitness who saw the whole thing was down in the basement and witnessed satanic sacrifices of little kids. Carry over from what I would learn much later, that the 80s were an evangelical satanic scare. Except that Mormons took it literally and actually implemented it here in Utah, I understand. Nelson, what's up with that? His daughter. And you can't sue the church or any of the prophet's family in the state of Utah. The judges won't let you. You are denied your First Amendment rights in Utah. And they punish you. And so, hearing about the Illuminati, not knowing anything about it, it was just something that I just said, yeah, okay, whatever. And I witnessed as people mocked it. They didn't believe it, and they didn't think it was credible. They thought it was done and gone. That was an early 1800s thing here in America. There's no evidence of its existence whatsoever. It's just conspiracy theories mutilating the definition of a conspiracy theory. A theory is a scientifically based, logical, Socratic methodology to run tests for confirmation. And when you add a conspiracy with it, that's a crime committed by two or more people. And thus it's a forensic criminal investigation. Or generally, without the crime, an investigation involving two or more people, but conspiracy has to involve crime. Anyway, yeah, crime. And so people have turned criminal investigation into a false, fake news, red flag operation, which is exactly what the Illuminati would do to get people off their back. Yeah, criminals always deny their crimes. And yeah, they love to manipulate the English language, political speech, religious speech, anything to detract away from original meaning and definition. And so, I would have never have known anything about them and their origin and their current reality, having traced them from their origins. If it hadn't have been for Bill Blunt, my neighbor in West Valley, former bishop, invited my wife and I over for dinner on occasion, and we were sitting in Sunday school. This was right before I got booted out for saying that the Book of Mormon is true, and apparently it went against the words of the prophets. Utah is a nightmare. Here I am, being born and raised in the church, growing up in the covenant, believing the church is true, believing in science. Science will prove the church is true. You just got to run the tests. I do it with Paleo-Hebrew. Boom, Joseph Smith is a translator. Confirmed, established as fact. He's right. King Follett sermon. And yet, why are Mormons attacking me? Why am I all of a sudden the enemy? Oh, right. I have the gifts. Nelson and all of the prophets since Brigham don't. But Mormons should be paying attention to this rather than attacking me, because this is an Illuminati tactic to deny and attack people who point out the truth. Changing definitions. But he was asking if I knew that Joseph Smith had a pistol in Carthage jail. And I said, yeah, my third great grandfather, John Solomon Fulmer. And, oh, you're related. Okay. Well, did you know he had two? I didn't know he had two. I had not done research on Carthage jail. I just heard what the church told me to believe. And since I couldn't study it or didn't know to study it, I'm still focused on Paleo-Hebrew. It was 2017, so I was now focusing on signs in the heavens, searching for the latter-day signs in the heavens, the days and the hours. Travis, no man knows the day or the hour. You can't do this, just like you can't decipher Paleo-Hebrew. No. You can't have the gifts. No. And so I go home and I begin working on researching Carthage jail, trying to find documents. I now have Google search. I'm beginning to learn how to use it and find things. And I'm checking, because this is a crime scene investigation. So I'm using what I just previously talked about. Doing a forensic investigation of the crime scene. Assembling all of the evidence, identifying anomalies from the patterns, and then developing a theory test using logical Socratic methodology to run tests for confirmation. And I was just doing a surface thing, because why would the church lie? And focused on the actual crime scene itself. And I got to the point where I was recognizing that the shot through the door is too low to have hit Hiram Smith right here. Learning that it's Hiram's blood on the floor. Learning of the two pistols. Learning that Joseph Smith stood at the top of the stairs when they came up the stairs without their rifles because they were way too long. And that Joseph chased them out. But how did they die then? And then I followed the actions of the scene in the room and got to the point where my brain was going, oh my God, this is an inside job. And I stopped and went back to the beginning. I got to do a thorough research on this. I can't just do an immediate crime scene investigation. I've got to go back to the beginning, follow everybody's movements and actions up until that point, follow the money trail, find a money trail and follow it, and then continue on after the event to see what people do afterwards. That's how you do a thorough investigation. Those of you who are police officers in the state of Utah who keep asking for the public's help to do your job. And especially, I guess our FBI and federal agencies also need to hear this video on how to do their jobs. And so in the course of going back to the beginning, I learned about Joseph Smith Sr. That's where my starting point was. Could have kept going further, but for Joseph Smith, I started with his parents when they got married there in Vermont. And so I'm checking out the geography, where they're located, trying to find out what religions were nearby, and the distances it would take to travel on horse. And accumulating all of the evidence, I started to assemble the puzzle together. And I would do videos and publish books as I went along with my research. And there were instances where people would catch an error that I made and point it out, and that just helped improve the bigger picture, even though they thought that they were going to prove me wrong. The first one was the Coopersmith shop. I thought it was a typing error on the map of the farm. And so I thought it was copper, because copper fit a scenario as I ran the test. Oh, okay. Copper plates were used for the print press. They're working on a book, the Book of Mormon, copper plates, and that's not 200 pounds of gold, and so that helps with the golden plates claim. Should have trusted Joseph. And so, yeah, that type of process, and learned that no, it is Cooper for the copper bands for the barrels, which you use to hold gunpowder. What does Joseph Smith Sr. need gunpowder for? Because you can't just take in copper and not use it in public knowledge, and then all of a sudden come out and say, hey, I've got a book, here's the copper plates for the printing. Yeah, it doesn't work that way. People are going to find out. And so then I found out he was a Freemason. All of the pictures on the Illuminati on Google search, well, it's Bing search. I prefer Bing search. Google search sucks. For pictures anyway. And then Bing just changed it recently, as they were trying to get it to change over the last couple of years, and pissing me off. Just keep it the way you had it. It was perfect then. Anyway, all of them are claiming that Illuminati and Freemasonry are one and the same. That's not the case. Johann Adam Weishaupt was not a Freemason. He joined Freemasonry, but not until after the formation of his Illuminati. And so people don't seem to understand this. That's part of the problem, is that people hear things from misinformation by the criminals, purposely diverting people away from the truth, claiming you're Christian, and then you go through and read the Book of Mormon, and then if this is literal history, there are some problems. Why are there cows in ancient America? And you get caught in that rabbit hole when you don't go to the origin. It's Jewish. This is an Illuminati trick to deceive people and take them away from the core issue of their criminality. And so then I would find out about Joseph Smith Sr. as a master mason in Canandaigua, New York. And I went, oh my God, William Morgan, that guy who disappeared, caused the anti-Mason movement. Joseph Smith Sr. was there, huh? Working on a book there in Canandaigua, and Junior just happens to come out with a book after that event? Gold plates of the Knights Templar of the York Rites of Joseph Smith Sr.? Knights Templar, huh? Yeah. You assemble the pieces, and you see the bigger picture. And obviously Mormons cannot accept this, because it destroys their faith bubbles. Jeremy Runnels quoted what's-his-name, who was a counselor, who said we shouldn't fear investigating the church. Apparently he was a lawyer of some sort or another, prosecuting attorney, defense attorney, it doesn't matter. And so he knew and understood how to do forensic investigation, how to present logical, sound arguments in a courtroom, what witness literally means. And that's why he said what he said. Apparently he had to back off because it went against the church. Yep. Yeah, to cut it short, the Illuminati infiltrated the Scottish Rites Freemasonry. And so Joseph Smith Sr. is the American hero who saved America. He is the true patriot, the unknown soldier, who was not even a soldier. He was just an American citizen doing his duty. And then set up his son to be the founding Christ of the Jewish religion, Kabbalah. Because too much Freemasonry was in the original 116 pages, and so it had to be rewritten for more Jewish Kabbalah instead. But was able to throw in the Promised Land with Zion, with the Solomon Temple. And then Junior with his 1838 declaration, which, yeah, that's why Joseph Smith was cooed and put in Liberty Jail that year. because that history in its original, not what we have published, exposes Brigham Young's coup. That's why the church will not use the Joseph Smith papers to make corrections, because this church is the enemy. They are the Illuminati. At least a branch off of it. Others went to the south to become the Confederates, with the Illuminati on the cross of the Confederate flag. Brigham Young plastered it on the Nauvoo Temple. So then, the Logan Temple, the Salt Lake Headquarters Temple on the Keystone. Blatantly obvious. And yet Mormon apologists take people away. Church won't even touch it. They do a video of the temple, going over the symbols. Nope. They skip the keystone. They have a whole lesson in the Book of Mormon right at the beginning. It was this year. Every one of you had it. About the keystone and what it means and its symbolism. And there, the Illuminati symbol of Lucifer is on our headquarters temple. It wasn't an accident. It was done on purpose. And so, all through these latter days, I'm learning of the real church history. Learning of the secret combination that intends to destroy the United States of America and get their kingdom back. This was their death threat to me. That's why I'm here. Which I shouldn't have been here. I should have still been locked up in Gail Miller's prison concentration camp of human trafficking. But she's gotten away with it, as she's now been responsible for booting out Sandra Tanner for that new field out there. And so Albert Pike, he wrote a letter to Mazzini, Giuseppe Mazzini, dated 15th of August, 1871. And of course, there's been lots of speculation as to whether it's real or not. But after learning the truth about church history, I come back to this and I go, oh my God. The truth about church history establishes the truth of Albert Pike's letter. And guess who it's talking about? The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This is why the church is secretly paying the Judas price to cause all the problems worldwide. The Islamic protesting and violent overthrow, they've now stopped some commencement proceedings. They stopped them. Their violent threats stopped them. Remember January 6th? It postponed it, but did not stop it. The Islamic protests are stopping things. This is criminal, terrorism, seditious conspiracy. And they're using little kids who don't even know what they're doing. I watched a video of a YouTuber who decided to go and ask if any of the protesters in Colombia know what they're protesting for, trying to get an answer from any of them. And person after person mostly said, "We're not allowed to talk to you. Go talk to the organizers." What? You can't speak for yourself? And the ones who did talk were talking about divesting money from Israel, denying October 7th. They want Israel to suffer. They believe Israel is the aggressor, not the defender. This is what I'm witnessing in the news. The news keeps talking about Israel being the aggressor, ignoring the history of the Jews, ignoring the history of Islam. And a simple kid with a camera exposed that these riots, insurrectionist terrorist riots, are paid for, and also Fox News has been able to trace the money trail. But they don't go far enough, because where do those organizations get it from, Fox? Keep following the money. And then you'll find it goes right back to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints when they met with Islamic government and religious leaders at the headquarters. They did photo ops. I covered it in the news. I warned you, it's a business transaction. Something's coming. Pay attention. And here we are. Just like with, in a major city yet to be determined in Russia. What did Putin use the money for? We still have yet to have a temple in Russia. But apparently the Ukraine temple is back up and running, along with the Jerusalem Center. There are wars going on. Why are they open? Again, diversions to trick and deceive you. The church news doesn't talk about what business transactions they were involved with. Church just brags about all the government and religious leaders coming to visit them. Oh, we're talking with the Pope. We gave him a statue of non-Trinitarian Jesus. We're going to convert the Pope. Yeah, those were not my video topics. My video titles involve kissing the ring of the Pope. So yeah. I am unsuccessful, because the latter days are over with, to convince Mormons of the blatantly obvious. And so we are told destruction is coming. Albert Pike even said this is what it's all about. Utter destruction so that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints gets their kingdom back. Remember the death threat? You should already know what the pure doctrine of Lucifer is if you're Mormon. We get exclusive knowledge from Joseph Smith on this. Christians don't know it. Islamists don't know it. only us because of Joseph Smith. And that's what this church practices. The doctrines of Lucifer. Because that's his symbol on the keystone of the headquarters temple. But that's why they push what they're pushing. To cause contention, to cause fights, to cause disruptions, to change definitions, to change meanings, to let people get away with their crimes, to allow for bullying and abuse and rapes and plunders and murders, to destroy this government, so that after the carnage, the church rises up with their kingdom. That's why they're hoarding the money. You know, maybe they're going to establish a new economy and have the money transformed to have meaning and value. And that's what Bitcoin is, the stock market. It's not real money. So, yeah, if you want to play that game, I'm the richest person in the universe. Put it on my tab. I feel it's true. You have to validate my feelings. Just like all of you women out there who are my girlfriend. I feel you are my girlfriend. You have to validate my feelings. I am not the father. No, no, Robin, not me. She's now 29 days late. I have no idea who Robin is. I only know her from her comments on YouTube. Silly girl. Hoping you're not a 300-pound guy in some mommy's basement. In Russia. Dear God. But yeah, that's what they're doing here. That's why they're pushing Christian extremism. That's why they're pushing Islamic extremism. That's why they banned abortion. Women no longer have rights. And they give you the false hope that, oh, the next election you'll be able to vote and get them back. They got a foothold. Women are so out of it when it comes to war strategy. Men are all about warfare and war strategy and the art of war. Women aren't. Women do not understand the danger therein. LGBTQ, IAPO+, also are in great danger. You were created to be that way, so that they can destroy you. You've denied science, the one thing that should have grounded you in reality, and you denied it. Because the enemy told you to do so. I saw this with my bullying peers, exactly like psychologists. And then, boom, I found the source origin. Star Trek, New Generations. I knew it was in the 90s, but I didn't know the source origin of how it got spread, other than psychologists in the grade schools. But, combined with Hollywood, your lives are now in great danger. Because apparently you don't know about World War II Nazi German history. And oh yeah, Trump. diverting away from him by projecting religiously called beam and mote, saying that Biden is going to establish Nazi Germany. Vote for Trump, who's only read Hitler's. Oh my God. Which I don't think he could read, and so I don't think he actually read it, but he did have the collection at his bedstand. That is an established fact by him. But dear God. And yeah, Stephen Miller, the little devil on both shoulders, the neo-Nazi. So yeah, we're in great danger. And I'm not in the position that Joseph Smith Sr. was, because this is it, what Sr. was warning us with the Book of Mormon about. And so now it's a matter of getting Mormons to believe, and Mormons have chosen not to. And so, yeah, I try to tell you and throw out things to help remind you and figure it out, so that you'll learn how to learn. And here we are at chapter 7 of 3rd Nephi. The fall of the United States of America. And this was supposed to be in 2020. They failed. Mormons were given extra years to repent, and Mormons wasted those years and refused to believe. And I've suffered for it because of Mormons' wickedness. We were supposed to go as a group to save America that year, that election. To make sure that the election results were certified, that all the MAGA conspirators got locked up. And you didn't believe. And so here we go again. It would be great if we can get Mormons to believe. If we can get this church shut down, that we can go and save America and the Constitution, giving women back their rights, locking up all the terrorist, seditious conspirators. But, as you're well aware of, it's in extreme mode now. They that are with them are far more than they that are with me. Because Mormons, who are supposed to be with me, are with them. And so, yeah, you still have time, even though the latter days are over with, and I've given up hope, I want to retire. But we now have to do it in secret, because they've forced us to do it in secret, because they've taken over our government, and they are the leaders of the church who've taken over the government. This is what they do. They commit the crime, and those who fight back get called the criminals. And the criminals are called the victims. And so, yeah, if we were to try to form a group, we would be treated exactly like Alma in the Waters of Mormon, where he's able to get a group together and sneak off so that King Noah doesn't find out. And they found out, chased them out of the land as they go to Zion, with a few imprisonments along the way with the priests of Noah who found them. Book of Mormon is incredible when you understand it in the learning of the Jews. Because we wouldn't be a military force per se, other than to defend America, the title of liberty. But Pehoran is actually the enemy. Trump is the enemy of MAGA. Or Trump is the leader of the enemy MAGA, and Biden is the leader of the enemy Islam. Oh my hell. How did we get here? I already know how we got here. And so now the election is, who do you want America to destroy you? Islam or MAGA? Evangelical MAGA. And so the church thinks they've got America in check now. They're going to get it this year. They chased out the people who had honor and integrity in the 2020 election. So that problem is out of the way. They've got the Supreme Court justices in position and are doing a great job so far, not being held accountable for their crimes of insurrection against America. And so, yeah, I do not see a scenario where I go to Zion. I do not see Mormons all of a sudden repenting, going, wow, I now see the truth. Because Expo Nevermos, they aren't saying it. They too don't want to believe it. They can't believe it if they're going to continue to mock and expose the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in their method of exposing. They cannot use the learning of the Jews because that would destroy their whole videos. And I guess they're ashamed, just like Mormons are ashamed of the gospel of the Jews. And all the prophecies were originally by the Jews, and they got it from the Egyptians. That's why the Illuminati, they took over the Egyptian symbolism too and screwed it all up. It's unclear as to what coding they're using for the Egyptians other than the prophecies that originated from them. So they clearly understood that the Egyptian documents are the origin of the biblical documents, of which they were using to coordinate their attack for the latter days and failed. And so, yeah, this year is a repeat of 2020. Instead of Black Lives Matter protesting, Islamic protesting. Islam is already doing a better job than the Black Lives Matter protesters. Because the two enemies have different triggers to rile people up. For MAGA, it's shooting unarmed, innocent black men in the back. And we're witnessing what it is for Islam. And the church paid for it all. So, yeah, any kind of military strategy, it's just me. So, I have only one friend. He's an email pal. There are others who aren't near as long lasting as he is. But he's not a game strategist. It's all about the music, man. But he has been with me through it all. Even though it's all just email through it all. But no friends, no family, no Mormons have stuck by me when times got tough. Everybody betrayed me. Everybody were Judas. And we can't build Zion without people. And if Mormons won't believe their own Book of Mormon and Joseph Smith, we're not going to have Zion. Utter destruction. It's already set in motion. Church already has it all set up. You know, we're just waiting 6 more months. And if Islam can escalate to further violence, great. So Israel going into Rafah now, great. Keep defying the United States too. Great. Just what they planned. Because they're already accusing Israel of being the aggressors. They've already fooled the world on this. The press is against them. Governments are against them. National organizations are against them. Charitable organizations are against them. Everybody is supporting terrorism. When you support terrorism, you're a terrorist. And by blaming Israel for what Hamas caused, you are supporting Hamas. You are a denialist. The regulations of the government will be destroyed because of the secret combinations of those who had murdered Joseph Smith and Hiram. Verse 6. Do you ever follow along in the scriptures with what I refer to? I know Mormons don't. They work on all those pictures for you. Nope. And so no, we have nobody to build Zion with. We have nobody to save America. It's just utter destruction. The Book of Mormon warned you, Joseph Smith warned you, and here it comes. So, yippee-ki-yay. Ode to Die.